Hello, my name is Steve Harbin. Today we begin a new series called The Road Less Traveled, because the road you travel is not the shortcut. Our scripture is Isaiah 35, 8 through 10. And a highway will be there, and it will be called the way of holiness. The unclean will not journey on it. It will be for those who walk in that way. Wicked fools will not go about on it. No light will be there, nor will any ferocious beast get on it. They will not be found there, but only the redeemed will walk there, and the ransomed of the Lord will return. They will enter Zion with singing. Everlasting joy will crown their heads. Gladness and joy will overtake them. Sorrow and sighing will flee away. See, in December 1992, God built a highway and connected it to my life. A highway over which He's been traveling all these years. A highway of holiness. It is a highway still under construction. You see, every day I'm getting closer and closer to getting it completed. Sometimes He has to come back and patch up some of the holes along the way, and sometimes He's had to come back and do a complete reconstruction. When you travel this highway, you are in the presence of God. Let me share with you what I've found out about this highway. There are three prominent principles of the highway to holiness. First, in God's presence, all sin is exposed. You see, you're not in God's presence if your sin has never been exposed. Look for a moment at the vision Isaiah had, found in Isaiah 6, 1 through 8. Let's read it together. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, lofty and exalted, with the train of His robe filling the temple. Seraphim stood above Him, and each having 6 wings. With 2 He covered His face, and with 2 He covered His feet, and with 2 He did fly. And one called out to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory. And the foundations of the threshold trembled at the voice of Him who called out, while the temple was filling with smoke. You see, Isaiah's vision was an upward vision. He literally saw the Lord, high and exalted. And he saw what many thought overwhelmed him. Look at how he describes God. Seated on a throne, high and exalted. His royal robe filled the temple. You see, it was not only an upward vision, but secondly, it was an inward vision. Look at this scripture. Then I said, Woe is me, for I am undone, or I am ruined. I love what King James says. He says, I am undone. The English Standard Version says, I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with the burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. And he touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is forgiven. See, he saw himself, not as man sees him, but as God sees him. Isaiah cried out, I have seen Him, and I am ruined. I am unclean, and I live among people of unclean lips. And in his brokenness, he repented. And God cleansed him of his impurities and sin. Not only was his vision an upward vision, and not only was it an inward vision, but it was an outward vision. Look at the scripture. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And then I said, Here am I, send me. He overheard the conversation taking place between the triune God. The Lord was asking, Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? When God issues an invitation, it either has to be accepted or rejected. And Isaiah accepted the invitation. And we all need to accept God's invitation. The vision is upward, the vision is inward, and the vision is outward. Next week, we'll continue our discussion on the highway of holiness, and I'll join you next week. Thank you for joining me.